It's about the scars of war. It is about understanding whispers from history's darkest corners. Some say war comes without warning, but I think it comes with warning, just that we don't listen. When the first bullet cracks the sky, we run helter-skelter. Look around. It is the age of war. Russia marches into Ukraine, turning cities into graveyards. What about Israel and Hamas? As I speak, Sudan bleeds as the world watches with tired eyes. In Nigeria, look at the Middle Belt. Benue State, Plateau State, the earth is stained red. Bandits and militias have turned villages in those states into dirt. But note, war is not just about death. It is the unraveling of humanity. We have seen this before. We continue to see it. It reminds me of 1967 to 1970, the Biafran War. A state tore itself apart, lives gone, hunger as a weapon, children with ribs like ladders, their bellies swollen with nothing but air. That is war. I spoke to General Alabi Isama, a soldier. Isama fought in the mangroves, in the creeks where the water ran red. After surviving the war, he told his story in this book entitled The Tragedy of Victory, on the spot account of the Nigeria-Biafra War in the Atlantic Theater. It is the story of Alabi Isama's war experience. It is the story of war. Here, the general paints the pictures of war.
How did my mother buy me bicycle as a cadet? And she bought me a car and as a second lieutenant. I rode cars before everybody. I was using a limousine in the army, a limousine, to be able to carry all my children. Anyway, don't let us deviate from the picture story. So my mother then went to Kingsway and bought the container that they got. They loaded a DC-9 full and brought to the war front. A whole plane. Then I told the photographer, if I do like this, just take my photo. If I do like this, just take my photo. Then the man came, brought the first 20. I didn't see myself. Effion, you crazy? I said, take my photo. He said he was documenting the war. Who told you to document? Well, take my photo. That's what I told you to do. But luckily, there was one British journalist, Winston Churchill, the son of Rudolph Churchill, the grandson of the British Prime Minister, Winston Churchill. One man was in Enugu, Frederick Forsyth.
Yeah, Ojuku's friend.
Ojuku's friend. He said that the way Nigerians cross the river, in fact, he wrote it in his book, from Afikpo, below Afikpo, that means crossing Opobo River with pontoon and everything, there were only mercenary from the British army who would have done that. It was myself. I went to see him. I said, that's me. I made the plan. Anyway, so the British, the Times of London ordered Winston Churchill to go to Nigeria to find out, because the British government denied that they had no mercenary with Nigerian troops, and that's a fact. So that Winston Churchill went to see Adekunle at Port Harcourt, and Adekunle said, well, look.
Adekunle was the commander of the 3rd Marine
Commando. And he said, look, just go and meet Alabi Isama. He will tell you the entire story of how he crossed Opobo River with the pontoon and all the tactics and strategy that he applied. So Winston Churchill came. Very day, I put that man, the photographer, in the guard room for not taking my picture. He said he was documenting the war. Who told you to document the war? I said, take my picture. Anyway, I put him in the guard room. I just locked him up in one room there that had a toilet and water. And then Winston Churchill said, look, you will like these pictures that this man did. That's a professional photographer. He didn't have to take your picture for you to tell the story of the war. These 20 pictures are the best that anybody will have had about the Nigerian Civil War. So I released him, and then there was another person called Bolomokwe, the pictures are here, who said, Oga, I'll be photographer too. So I said, all right, you be his assistant. So the two of them took these pictures that I have.
Wow.
I have over 10,000 pictures.
Of the war?
Of the war. Nobody else has it. Nobody. And I allow them to use it. If they want to use it, use it.
When I'm reading the book, I spend more time on the pictures.
Yes, that's it.
I spend more time on the pictures.
You know why? Because the story in the book was too good to be true. If the pictures were not there, nobody would believe the book. It was like going to capture Obubra. Nobody died, and I captured the whole state. How did you do that? The picture proved it.
You know, on page 148, there's this picture there.
Okay.
148. A 50-foot long snake swallowed a soldier.
Okay.
We killed the snake with the soldier still inside.
Yes.
That scene.
All right. I got there. I was 27 years old. And I was afraid. But as the officer, I couldn't run away. Shoot the bastard, kill the snake. They said, we've been shooting all day. One said, I finished my magazine, the snake no die, oh.
By this time, the snake had swallowed the soldier.
The soldier, they would strike.
And it wasn't moving.
They couldn't move. Because the soldier's head was already, only the boots were outside. And what happened? They fired and the snake did not die. So then I said, all right. You want the snake to die? Everyone said, yes, sir. Take my grenade, touch my head. I was just boasting. They touched my head with the grenade, throw the grenade. And the snake went into pieces.
The soldier was gone.
That's it. It was already gone now when the snake swallowed. The snake will first of all strike before swallowing.
So it means Nigerian troops were fighting in rough terrains.
It was I wrote in this book that we were not just fighting Biafra. We were fighting the mangrove forest, the topography.
If you turn to chapter 7 of Alabi Isama's book, you would understand the picture he has just painted. Chapter 7 is entitled The Challenges. If you flip through the pages, what do you see? Pictures of war. In this picture I am looking at here, the author states that this is the terrain we passed through, and it can be seen in this picture here. It was a greater challenge than we envisaged. Our vehicles were getting mired as a routine, thus making advance slow, painful, and debilitating. But we were undeterred. The book can be described as the pictures of war. In this case, it is about the Nigerian Civil War. So, you see this book? Big book? Have you read it? You should read this book. It is the story of Nigeria, the story of Biafra. It is the story of pain and the story of tragic victory. War is not glory. It is mud. It is disease. It is holding your friend as he chokes. And what did we learn? Nothing. Because war is a monster that feeds on forgetting. Therefore, there are lessons one can take from human experiences. So whenever I go through this book, The Art of War by Sun Tzu, I learn the lessons that war can be prevented and war can be fought in non-bloody ways. This is the book I'm talking about, The Art of War. In the age of war, those who survive must imbibe the lessons of the art of war. The Art of War is a masterpiece of strategic thought. Written over 2,500 years ago, The Art of War remains the most influential note on strategy ever composed. Sun Tzu, a Chinese general and philosopher, distilled warfare into principles so universal that they apply far beyond the battlefield. The lessons in Sun Tzu's book can be used in modern business, politics, sports, and even personal development. In this book, Sun Tzu says, know yourself and know your enemy. And if you do that, in 100 battles, you will never be in peril. It is the foundation of all competitive advantage. The art of war is a mindset. Whether you are a chief executive officer, a soldier, or simply someone who wants to navigate life's conflicts with wisdom, this book, The Art of War, is for you. And this is a special edition with foreword by James Clavell. Classic. It is the scars of war. From my readings and observations, war does not distinguish between soldier and child. It consumes everything. Yet, man will not stop fighting. More wars will be fought. So how do you survive in the age of war? It is about understanding the art of war. It's about reading books like Tragedy of Victory, written by General Alabi Isama. In this story, Alabi Isama discusses the panic in the ocean during war.
The topography. We were fighting the mangrove in the mangrove forest. You saw the pictures. We even killed an elephant. There is an elephant here.
Yes, I saw
the second was a female. And I told them not to kill that one, to let that one go. Oh yeah. The snakes in the water, the mud. The pictures here showed what we went through in Marine Commando. In 1 division and 2 division, I mean, driving from Benin to Asaba, where was the problem they had? Or driving from Kaduna or going to Enugu to Umaya. What was the problem on the way?
You spent most of your time during the war
fighting the elements. It was raining every day. The pictures are here.
You were in the 3rd Marine Commando.
In 3 Marine Commando, I couldn't see you. You're about 10 meters from me. I couldn't see you.
Adekunle was the commander.
Adekunle was our commander. Was the GOC.
And the story of the war from that end sometimes can be scary.
Of course it is. Because so my soldiers, I lost 8 soldiers in the Scorpion strategy, the advance to Port Harcourt from Calabar. When they saw the expanse of water linking the Cross River to the Atlantic, they panicked. That was the first canoe, and that was why he died about, this officer, I want to mention his name, General Daramola, SF Daramola. He died about 2 months ago. May he rest in peace. He became the commander of the depot, at the training depot at Abeokuta. And we said what was most important to us was that they must let the soldiers in training to go and see expanse of water in Lagos before bringing them to the war front. People panicked. We were in the middle of the ocean. They panicked. And that's why I lost those 8 people in that canoe.
Alabi Isama is the author of the book, The Tragedy of Victory, on the sport account of the Nigeria-Biafra War in the Atlantic Theater. That's the book. The good news is that I had about 5 hours interview with General Alabi Isama on this book, The Strategies of War, as highlighted in this work. Stay on this channel. We will soon begin to release the video interview for your delight. It is the story of Alabi Isama, but you can read his book on this YouTube channel before the interview is uploaded on this channel. The Tragedy of Victory, a book written by Brigadier General Alabi Isama. It is a revealing book. The first part is an account of the author's life. The second part is about the real combat of the Nigerian Civil War. Read it and give us your feedback. There is silence after the guns stop. A silence so heavy it could crush the sky. Remember, the land does not forget. But we do not listen. Because we do not listen, it is important we study the 33 strategies of war, a book written by Robert Greene. Robert Greene's The 33 Strategies of War is a psychological arsenal building on the foundations of Sun Tzu, Clausewitz, and Machiavelli. Greene distills 2,500 years of military, political, and social conflict into 33 actionable strategies of survival in this age. Each strategy in Greene's book is a lesson in control and psychological dominance. This book says 33 Strategies of War. This book teaches you how to turn weaknesses into strengths, create a presence that dominates. Are you an executive or an entrepreneur? You need this book to be able to withstand corporate warfare and negotiation tactics. You want to be a leader and a strategist? The book will help you. Are you an underdog? What about underdogs and survivors? With a book like this, you can turn the tables in your favor. The lessons of time and the lessons of history are embedded in the books I've recommended to you in this brief. It's about the scars of war and surviving the time. War is failure, failure of diplomacy, the failure of compassion, and the failure of memory. We stand on the bones of past wars, yet we march into new ones. I don't understand. When will we learn? When will we understand that no war truly ends? It's the lessons of time.